You ready?
Tony, the intro is first. Now. Okay. Oh, Hamdan,
Yeah.
I have to do the presentation on the other stage afterwards with your computer.
Battery.
Yeah, so better plug it in. 30 seconds. Yeah,
On both. Live on both.
good to go. Are you a diver and you maybe even take photos or videos underwater? Then this live stream is for you. Because we believe that everyone who takes images underwater is already an ocean ambassador. And to make sure that you can do your job properly and inspire people out there to care for the ocean and eventually protect it, we collected your questions beforehand on social media. And we're going to ask those questions to creative professionals from the industry. And we are sending live from the world's largest water sports show here in Düsseldorf, the boat show, which is taking place from 18th to 26th of January. You're going to find us live in Hall 11 at the Pixel World workshop stage. Make sure you follow us on social media, on the Behind the Mask Facebook page and on the Behind the Mask YouTube channel. Turn on your notifications and most importantly, ask your questions down in the comments and maybe we will even be able to pick up your question and forward your question to our guest. And one more thing, by leaving us a comment, you already have a chance to win amazing prizes. Good. Hello, and today we are here in the morning, 11:15, almost on time, with Julie Gautier. Good morning, Julie. How are you?
I'm very good.
We can hear you perfect. Yesterday we had Alex Mustard from the Cayman Islands. Now we have you from France. I thought a little bit about how do I introduce Julie Gautier, and then I realized, first of all, I probably don't have to do that because everybody knows you. But then I also realized it's pretty difficult because you can't say that you one thing because you're so many different things. Sometimes we see you in front of the camera. Sometimes we see you behind the camera. Sometimes we see you directing things. So how do you explain, what you're doing if somebody asks you that?
What am I? That's difficult. I'm kind of all of this. I just like to work underwater, and whatever I do, I just try to do it with all my heart. So I love to direct, I love to play, I love to work with people, and I always love also to take my passions and take it in the water, and that's why I started with this dance thing. So.
Okay. So,
I'm an underwater film director. It's mostly what I say. The rest is
underwater film
important.
director that is sometimes also in front of the camera.
Yeah.
And basically also in front of the camera and directing the film at the same time.
Yeah, that's very difficult.
Yeah,
I try not to do it.
Well, I think in Arma you did that.
Yeah, it was my first time to be in front of the camera and also directing. And when I first thought about the project, I wanted to find a dancer, a professional dancer to make the dance. But it was very difficult to find a good person to do it.
Really?
And very difficult to transmit also what I wanted to do. It's asking for so many skills, to be a dancer, to be able to hold your breath, to be able to have a peaceful face underwater, to be able to express feelings underwater. And it was such a personal project that finally I decided that I had to do it. So I had to prepare a lot ahead about. I wrote a lot, and I worked with my DOP about all the different shots I wanted to make, and I had an assistant, my choreographer, Ophélie Longuet. She followed me on the entire project, and she was my eye. When I was dancing, she knew so much the project. We worked so much together that she knew exactly what was good or wrong and how to direct me.
Yeah, I was just laughing a little bit about when you said like, yeah, we thought about we finding someone who can do that job, and I thought like, I mean, who is able to do that job? Like a free diving, dancing skills, you know, acting skills and everything. I mean, come on, there's probably nobody else in the world who can actually do that except you. Well, what was first? Was it the diving and the water first, and the creative approach to like, you know, telling the stories has come later, or you've been playing around with cameras first, or like how did it come along?
No, it was really by chance. You know, I grew up on an island on Reunion Island, so my father was a spearfisher, so I started spearfishing. This was my first relation with water. You know. Use my freediving skills to do something. And then I discovered that I was quite good at holding my breath, and I discovered pure freediving. So I went to that direction. I did some records. Sorry. I do not have any. And then I didn't like it so much, you know, to look for depth. And for me, being in the water was not to. It was not only for myself. And you know, freediving is really personal introspection thing. And I was used to use my freediving skills to take something from the water. You know, like much more. Maybe I don't know if it's more natural, but. For me, it was a skill to do something else. When I first grabbed the camera, it was in the Bahamas, and Guillaume was at a competition. He told me, "Oh yeah, we have this camera. Let's make a movie." I was like, "What?" I never ever touched a camera before then in my life, and I never thought about making movies or images or whatever. Never. So we took that camera, and he was diving in the morning, deep diving, and in the afternoon we were going back in the blue hole, and we were making tests, and I was following him and making these images. And when we came back home at night, we were editing on eMovie, you know, a really basic post-production device, and I loved it. I loved it. So we kept on doing it, and I did some improvisation about some shots, and this is how this freefall video was born, and it was such a huge success, and I loved it so much that I decided, okay, maybe I can find a new way to use my freediving skills, not only for pure freediving, but to bring this time not fishes but images, and to tell stories. Then I started to write Narcosis, you know, that's all the movie I made. And step by step, this is how I came to making images.
So I think with the free fall video, you inspired a lot of people. I remember that was before I was actually filming anything underwater, and I saw that, and it inspired me a lot. I remember it was on German. It was like an international German television station, Deutsche Welle, I think. And I saw that, and I really started thinking this is an interesting field to do something. And I remember I saw that, and I was like, this is crazy and amazing. I think what is also very unique is that I mean, we kind of have this diving bubble where you have people coming from the diving and, like documenting what's going on in the environment and trying to build a story around it. What I find is very fascinating when I see your work is that you actually have a different point where you radiate your stories out. Like you have something to tell, which is not only ocean related, but it is, and it has, I think it has a very interesting link to things and industries and everything outside of the diving world. So I think you have a very unique position in that. I think to entertain a little bit with pictures, I think we should look and have a look at Ama. The special thing about it is that you directed it. You're in front of the camera as well, right? So you're like a multi, like a Swiss Army knife in emotional underwater poetry. I don't know how I want to phrase it, but let's have a look first. And guys, whoever has a question, you can either put it on the live stream or we have a microphone here. Just raise your hand and then we can pass it around and ask about it. But now, let's have a look at Ama. When did you release Ama? Was it 2 years ago?
Yeah.
I remember, right? It was for the French diving show. Was it at the same time? It was at the beginning of the year?
A Women's Day, live. I did 40 events live around the world with the pre-diving community on the 8th.
Okay.
Yeah.
But still, we have to watch it.
For
so,
sure.
enjoy, everybody. I don't know how many times
Yeah.
I've seen it. I always like fascinated by it. I don't know. You know what strikes me the most? It's a so well executed but very simple idea where you can put so many emotions in it. I think this will be the all-time standard for expressive underwater dancing. It's just like sometimes, of course, I'm also a filmmaker, so I sometimes get a little bit jealous on things like this when you see something that you see something perfect like this, and you always think, why was that not my idea?
On a dance.
No, I don't know. I don't know. I have a million questions, but everybody else has a question, like straight from the heart, whatever is about it. Just ask for the microphone, and we can transfer that. Meanwhile, I don't know where to start. There's so many challenges. First of all, how can you be negative like this? Like, how can you actually be like? Did you swallow a weight belt before?
I will tell you how. No, so first of all, it's depth because it's a 10-meter platform pool, so it's quite difficult to find first, and you need to find a. For me, it was very important to film in a pool because when I first thought about the project, I said, okay, should I do it in the ocean or in a pool or in a cenote or I don't know what. But there was, as you said, so many challenges already to overcome that I needed to be in a controlled environment, but I needed depth also. And I was invited to Y40 for the first time, and when I saw the pool, I said, "Oh my God, that's exactly what I need. It's exactly what I'm looking for. This amazing environment and a beautiful pool that do not look like a pool, you know." So I fell in love with the place, and the depth is essential. You know, when you go deeper and deeper, you're less buoyant, and you can stay on the bottom. So 10 meters. Then I had hidden wet belt under the dress that I made myself. It's like a corset of weight. It's a little bit under 1 kilo. So it's helping me also to stay grounded. And third thing, it's when I'm down there, I exhale a little bit, so I can be really grounded.
Yeah, you make it sound very easy.
Just lose all my breath.
Yeah, you make it sound very easy.
And you have to fill up your sinuses also, so you don't have bubbles coming out all the time.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's okay. Like there is like you're expressing something. You're definitely expressing something. So, like, how do you manage to actually be there, doing like an athletic performance, right? Like, you have to hold your breath. You have to be, like, you don't see yourself the way the camera sees you. You probably see a lot of things distracting you in the background, and you really have to be focused. And how do you manage to actually get into this zone where you can let all these expressions out without being distracted by all the other things?
So first of all, it's a lot of work ahead to, and as you said, simplicity is the key, because there's so many things you have to deal with when you're down there, that the movement should be quite simple to execute and simple enough to let people understand what's happening, because movement, it's not work, so it's quite difficult to be meaningful. I'm lost.
Yeah. I think it's really interesting to see how this expression actually comes out. And what also interests me is, like, I can also ask it in a very simple way. Did you have a storyboard to do that?
I had kind of a storyboard, yes. But I worked a lot on the choreography first, so I needed to have it on my head, so perfectly that I didn't have to think about the movement when I was down there. That's why I could focus on the feelings. So I worked 2 months ahead, first to find the good movement, and another month to repeat and repeat and repeat and repeat the movement. So the movement is perfect over time. And then when the movement is perfect, then you can give it emotion.
Okay. What a lot of people probably also wonder about is how can you hold your breath for so long?
That's what I'm reading right now.
Yeah, I think that's one question out of the community right now.
For 6 minutes?
Yeah, for 6 minutes.
Yeah, so I cheated a bit, you know. This is the magic of
Editing.
Editing and cinema.
Okay.
It's a 2-day shooting, and I did, I don't know, 30 dives a day to achieve that. So I go down, and as I always do the exact same movement, when we move the camera, I start back ahead of where I ended, and it looks completely fluid. It looks like a one strike free dive, but it's not. It's not a 6-minute performance. But I could do like maybe 2 minutes 30 acting, dancing underwater, holding my breath. But I was born in the water, you know.
Yeah.
It's part of
Yeah, no big deal. Of course. No, I mean, you know, if you look at it, you think like, okay, if somebody can hold the breath for so long, that's super difficult. But then you probably just go down there and you do it like many times and you record it many times. But you have to split it up in different parts, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you always try to repeat one part and then do another part
Exactly.
and then just hope.
I did it in the comment on dit, dans l'ordre, in the good order.
Yeah.
You know, I select a phrase of movement. I don't know, 5 movements, and I do it 3-5 times the same thing. And when everybody's okay, so me, how I felt it, the DOP, how he saw it, how he filmed it also, because you know the camera has to move perfectly also, and my director assistant, has to give the okay from what he saw on the screen, because we had an outside screen, so she could see exactly what was filmed, and so we were 3 deciding, okay, we have that shot, we can move on to the next 5 movements.
It's amazing.
There's-
No, it's really amazing. Because I also think a lot of people don't really understand how much skills and effort actually are in this performance. So it's not only you knowing about all the movements you do, you are synchronized with the cameraman and with the director at the same time.
Yeah.
And then you do different segments, and in the end you montage everything together that make it look like it's all like seamlessly one thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a lot to take in.
Well, okay.
Come on, you do the same.
Huh?
You do the same.
No. No, because we're very opportunistic. We basically just go out somewhere and hope that nature entertains us. Then we point the camera towards one direction, and after that we pretend we wanted to do that and we planned for that. You know, it's
That's about it.
yeah, that's about it. Hamdan, do you have another question now?
Yeah, I think one of the more interesting questions is, where was the inspiration, or what brought the inspiration to create this art?
The inspiration comes from life, and everything in life is you have to be open to the beauty of life, and the beauty of pain, and the beauty of joy, and the beauty of everything. And that specific movie came 10 years ago in my head, when I started working with an artist, and he made me dance underwater, but just, you know, improv with animals in the ocean. And as I was a dancer, I am a dancer. My mother was a dancer, so I danced since I'm very little. And I freedive and I spearfish. And at some point, I said, okay, I love to improvise and do stuff underwater, but what if I could bring movement, real inspired by dance movement, real dancing movement, prepared with a choreography. How if I could use it to build a real choreography underwater? And this is how it came. It came just with opportunity, with people I met, and it just grew up into my head.
Right.
But as you said, what's specific about my work is I always love to give meaning to things. I don't only, okay, let's make a movie and images and then we decide at the editing what it means. It's not the way I work. I was always work with the heart, and when I feel something, when it just explodes to me, I said, okay, it's the good timing. So sometimes it takes me a lot of time.
Yeah,
I have an idea. I say, okay, maybe technically or visually it would be beautiful, but what's the meaning of it? So I had this thing in my head. Okay, dancing underwater, choreography. I started writing stories, but I was not happy with it. And 8 years later, a life experience, a really difficult time in my life appeared, and I knew that I wanted to give that project to that feelings, or that feelings to that project,
Of course.
because it's so important. And I waited so long to release that idea, because I knew it would be beautiful, but it needed to support something meaningful and important. So when both came together, I decided, okay, let's go. So it's not something you have to overthink about. Sometimes you just have to be patient.
No.
Okay, cool. I think we have another
sure.
question from the audience.
Yeah, so it's clear on these films that you do, there's a ton of pre-production, a ton of synchronization, a ton of planning that goes into it. But can you speak to how much, if at all, comes out organically just as you're filming, and what kinds of things that might be, whether it's shots or emotions or that type of thing?
Yeah, it depends on the project. You know, Ama, it was a very, very well prepared project. There was no space for improvisation for that one. Just, finding the good timing where you find it perfect for yourself, perfect technically, perfect emotionally, and then there's more space for improvisation and instinct when you work in the open ocean. Mostly when I work with Guillaume, when I work on one breath around the world, you have written, okay, this is where I want to go, and I want to film the storm world. But then, you don't decide what's going to happen, and you let yourself be inspired by the moment, by the underwater decor, how you say it, surrounding, you know, but by the moment, by the place, by the people. But it's always better to go with one idea and then let yourself be guided by the elements. So there's, depending on the project, you can improvise, or you can be really focused on planning. And even for example, for the running video, you know, with the Beyonce, all the script written and the storyboard, but sometimes you have like a beautiful light, and you find a very nice place underwater with beautiful colors, and you take your actor and say, okay, come here, or mostly, you know, I don't work with animals, and that's nice to be able to control someone underwater.
Yeah, I know exactly, what you mean.
Okay, you go down and you stay 2 minutes down there, and you run, and you, you know.
Great. Hamdan, I think there's another one from the
Yeah,
community.
so there's two more questions. One question is, in terms of, you mentioned how when this is your art, this is something that's very subjective, and it also takes a lot of courage to do. So for someone who's in this scenario where they want to express this art, and they have these capabilities, they're creative enough, what advice would you give them?
Oh, that's a super difficult question.
What advice would I give? Just try it. My strength is that I don't know anything about technique.
That's
And
amazing.
that's the sentence telling he didn't know it was impossible, so he did it. And I think this is what I do. Sometimes it's a strength. Sometimes maybe I could be better if I knew some stuff about this. But most of the time, it allows me to be crazy and to make stuff that nobody would think about because no, it's impossible, or you don't do this. And if you have the feeling, and if you have ideas, and if you want to do it, just do it. Don't be scared to fail. Don't be scared to fail. There's no failing. Trust. You have to trust yourself and just
Excellent.
go. If you have the idea, if you have the instinct, just do it. Whatever.
I like that. Yeah. And the last question is there anything you can share with us in terms of what you're working on next? Another masterpiece such as that one?
Oh, I only do masterpieces. So there are two projects, two documentaries, working with Jean-Albert Lièvre, that was working with Nicolas Hulot on all the Ushuaïa. And he wants to make a documentary about the whales
Nice.
and how they communicate and how intelligent they are, but using a really oniric approach. He asked me to be the underwater director for that. So we are going to be co-directing that project. And
cool.
I also working on another underwater dance project, but it's going to be a duo with a very not the very the best ever known for me ballet dancer in the world. Her name is Sylvie Guilhem, very
nice.
famous dancer. And when I wanted to do Ama, I said, okay, I want a dancer because I wanted the lines to be perfect and the movement to be perfectly graceful. So I didn't really trust myself on that. But now I want to share my way of moving underwater and her way to move on land. And I would like to mix these two art of movement and put them together and share it underwater. And we're going to build a documentary also on that story, that meeting between a freediver, a dancer freediver, and a professional dancer that wants to go in the water.
Awesome. Whoa. That's cool.
Sounds amazing. I think we have another question from the audience.
Almost forgot my question. Hello, Julie. You're a friend from Hong Kong. In the movie, the dance looks so smooth and skillful. But do you have to do some practice before? To try dancing in another pool to practice to make it perfect before you go for the shooting. I know that the shooting is only for 2 days. So how do you do the preparation for it?
For Ama or for most of my projects?
For Ama.
For Ama.
Yeah, for Ama, it was a 8-year thinking about the project. It was 35 years of practicing free diving and dance. And then it was 1 month doing improvisation in the pool to pick up on the 10 beautiful movements to build the choreography, because it's something that do not exist, dancing underwater. Okay, what's beautiful, what's not, what's working, what is not working, what's meaningful, what's not. And then when we built the choreography with my choreographer, I worked for 1 other month doing and redoing the choreography underwater, so it was perfect. So no falling, no swimming movements, no forgetting. Yeah, perfect.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Interesting.
Great. You know,
And
we
then
could.
another edit-
Huh?
maybe another 2 months of editing, color grading, and
The fun things.
and music. Yeah.
We could, I think, go on
Yeah.
forever. I think I just had a great idea, because we were actually planning to put the portrait about you that the Ocean Film Tool made inside of the live stream. We will do that. We will not be
Okay.
able to fit it in the 45 minutes, so we just extend this live stream. Thanks a lot for joining us. Keep
Thank you.
inspiring us.
Thank
We really-
you so much.
We really look forward for everything that comes up. Now we play the portrait about you.
Okay.
We will, after that started, we will cut off the line. So you
Yeah.
would have to follow that in better quality on the live stream.
Okay.
Yeah. And then at 2 o'clock, we have Laurent Balesta on the stage with more insights behind the scenes of the 700 Sharks in the Dark. If you have an eye on the live video that you want to see on Facebook, on YouTube, and you see some more questions that you are willing to answer, I think the people would highly appreciate.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. And other than that, Julie, thank you very much. It's a great honor to have you here. And
Thank you, Julie.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Sujit. Five minutes. Okay.
Ça fait très longtemps que je veux danser dans l'eau. Mais j'attendais de trouver la thématique, un message fort à raconter dans ce film. Je savais que le visuel serait fort, donc j'avais besoin de raconter une histoire vraie et une histoire forte. À partir du moment où je racontais mon histoire, à partir du moment où il m'est arrivé cette mésaventure, ce drame, à partir du moment où j'ai voulu raconter cette histoire à travers la danse sous l'eau, c'était forcément moi qui devais être le transmetteur. parce que j'ai développé quelque chose qui m'appartient complètement. Cette danse sous l'eau, cette façon de se mouvoir, mélanger la danse, l'art du mouvement à l'eau, voilà, ça me ressemble à 100%. J'ai fait 2 records de France d'apnée, où finalement, j'avais pas l'impression d'avoir été au bout de quelque chose. J'avais pas une espèce d'autosatisfaction particulière. Et l'apnée, pour moi, n'est pas une fin en soi. Donc pour moi, la compétition, c'était vraiment de la performance. C'est-à-dire que je faisais pas de la compétition juste pour le plaisir de faire de la profondeur. J'avais un besoin de dépassement de moi. C'était pas pour le plaisir de plonger le long d'un câble. Mais en même temps, à côté, avec Guillaume, on avait commencé à faire de l'image. Voilà un moyen d'utiliser l'apnée pour faire quelque chose que j'aime. De filmer, de capturer des images, de raconter des histoires en utilisant mes capacités en apnée. Ça, c'était une révélation. Là, c'est le partage d'émotions. Pour moi, c'est vraiment ça. C'est un partage d'émotions. C'était un moyen d'exprimer cette douleur qui m'a été imposée par la vie. Jacques Ballard, mon chef opérateur, a découvert la chorégraphie que le jour du tournage. Il a même appris le sens profond de Hama pendant ce tournage. Comment raconter cette histoire avec que des mouvements? J'ai été beaucoup en piscine, je me suis filmée avec une GoPro et j'ai fait beaucoup d'improvisation dans la piscine, juste des mouvements simples, des mouvements un peu organiques pour essayer de voir ce qui fonctionnait et ce qui fonctionnait pas. Ensuite, j'ai récupéré toutes ces images que j'ai montrées à Ophélie. Merci à Ophélie, ma prof de danse qui a chorégraphié cette... Je l'ai choisie elle parce que déjà c'était ma prof de danse, donc au niveau du mouvement elle me connaissait par cœur, parce que c'était une amie, qu'elle avait vécu avec moi ce drame. Je suis pas une super danseuse sur terre. Très vite, je sens la restriction de la technique, de la souplesse, alors que quand je suis dans l'eau, je vole. Je me laisse aller à mon moment, je suis en confiance, je suis dans mon élément. Ça fait du bien, ouais, ça fait bouger le corps, ça fait bouger les émotions. À refaire, c'est super. C'est libérateur, c'est revigorant, c'est magnifique. Ça, c'était le plus beau des cadeaux pour moi, d'arriver à exprimer cette chose-là sans vraiment la dire. Le corps raconte énormément de choses et je pense que c'est pour ça que j'aime la danse. C'est parce que j'aime pas parler. J'ai toujours adoré cette forêt. Je la trouve absolument unique et magnifique. Voilà, je passe beaucoup de temps dans l'eau. Les gens me connaissent parce que je suis dans l'eau. Mais j'ai un énorme ancrage dans la terre. J'adore les forêts, je me sens bien dans les arbres. J'adore, depuis toute petite, je grimpe dans les arbres, je fais des câlins aux arbres. Je me sens extrêmement connectée, et même plus connectée à la forêt qu'à la mer. Je suis née à l'île de la Réunion et donc j'ai grandi sur une île. J'ai vécu pratiquement toute ma vie là-bas. Donc j'ai eu une enfance très proche de la nature, avec des activités voilà, très proches de la mer. Je me sens aux sources, c'est sûr. Ça restera chez moi, toujours. Ça fait partie de moi. J'ai eu deux parents passionnés. Mon père passionné de chasse sous-marine et ma mère passionnée de danse. Je suis un peu à cheval entre ces deux univers que sont la danse et la chasse sous-marine. Déjà, quand on était à La Réunion, que j'étais trop petite pour commencer la chasse sous-marine, je le voyais toujours revenir avec des poissons, où on allait à la mer ensemble et il me montrait déjà toutes les espèces de poissons et la manière de les approcher. Oui, il m'a fait mon premier petit fusil sous-marin qu'il a fait lui-même en bois et il a commencé à m'emmener chasser. Avec beaucoup de patience, parce que forcément, au début, j'allais pas très profond et j'ai progressé très très vite. Dès que j'ai eu 11 ans, il m'a emmené chasser avec lui. Je me rappelle la première fois, je suis allée chercher un poisson à 20 mètres de profondeur. Et je me rappelle encore de la difficulté d'aller jusqu'au fond, de tirer ce poisson, de même pas réussir à le remonter, de lâcher le fusil parce que c'était trop profond et de remonter toute seule à la surface. Et en surface, mon père qui m'a dit « Oh, tu te rends compte, là, il y avait 20 mètres. » J'ai développé une grosse capacité à rester en apnée déjà dès cette époque-là.
J'ai toujours été un garçon manqué. J'ai toujours chassé avec mon père, je me suis toujours battue. Devenir mère, ça m'a asseillée dans mon rôle de femme et ça m'a transformée dans le sens où j'ai arrêté d'être sauvage et dure. Ça m'a beaucoup adoucie.
J'étais à côté du champion du monde d'apnée, le meilleur au monde. Donc quoi que je faisais, c'était jamais suffisamment intéressant ou important pour que les gens s'intéressent à ce que je fais.
T'as bien expliqué que nous on était pour rien et qu'on n'avait rien compris?
J'ai dit mais j'avais pas envie non plus
d'assassiner.
De dire c'est eux, c'est pas moi.
Ça a été très difficile pour moi de trouver ma place auprès de Guillaume. J'avais du mal à vivre dans l'ombre de quelqu'un, surtout dans une ombre finalement qu'on n'a pas choisie.
Sa maman est danseuse, son papa l'a amené dans l'eau, a toujours été un passionné de la mer, a été un chasseur sous-marin. Et puis du coup, c'est un peu tout naturellement que danser sous l'eau est devenu une évidence.
Où est ma place? Où est ma place dans ce couple? Comment se construire à côté de quelqu'un qui prend autant de place? Même si ma nouvelle voie, c'était d'être derrière la caméra, d'écrire, de réaliser des films, c'était quand même les films de Guillaume Néry.
Ok, go!
que les gens ressentent beaucoup d'émotions à travers le film. Je pense que c'est énormément lié aussi à la façon de filmer, parce qu'il y a une véritable immersion dans la peau de l'apnéiste. C'est vrai que quand on fait des images en bouteille, ce sont des plans beaucoup plus statiques. Parce qu'il y a des bouteilles, parce qu'il y a des bulles souvent, parce qu'on est plus lourd. En fait, je filme comme j'évolue dans l'eau. C'est-à-dire avec beaucoup de souplesse, en jouant, en changeant d'axe, en tournant autour de moi-même. Et ça m'est vraiment permis par le fait d'être en apnée. Parce que j'ai une liberté absolue. Il n'y avait pas eu trop de films artistiques autour de l'apnée. C'était toujours montrer la performance. Et nous, ce qu'on a essayé de faire, c'était justement de montrer un autre côté. Narcose, c'est moi qui l'ai écrit et qui l'ai réalisé. J'étais énormément inspirée par ces visions que Guillaume un jour m'a racontées, mais malgré tout, je faisais encore un film sur lui. Alors Freefall, Gravity, ce sont vraiment des films à l'initiative de Guillaume. C'est lui qui les a réalisés. Moi, je suis à la caméra évidemment, mais c'est un travail qu'on a fait tous les deux. Mais ce sont ses réalisations. Depuis la sortie d'Ama, les gens s'intéressent un peu plus à moi, mais vraiment pour ce que je sais faire. C'est-à-dire pas parce que aussi je filme Guillaume en apnée, mais parce que j'ai développé quelque chose qui m'appartient complètement. Ça, c'était le plus beau des cadeaux pour moi, d'arriver à exprimer cette chose-là sans vraiment la dire. C'est un traumatisme de couple, donc qui est lié aussi énormément à Guillaume. Et pour lui, me mettre à nu par rapport à ce film, c'était difficile. Donc je peux pas vraiment du coup en parler dans le détail et je pense que c'est pas vraiment le point important. Le point important, c'est que Ama touchait les gens, que Ama permet de parler d'émotions, permet d'échanger. Et il y a plein de gens qui comprennent mon histoire et qui la partagent. Beaucoup de femmes qui ont connu la même expérience que moi. Finalement, être dans l'ombre de quelqu'un ou pas, c'est pas ce qui compte. L'important, c'est de savoir ce qu'on a vraiment envie de faire de notre passage sur Terre. Et Ama m'a mis sur la voie de cet accomplissement. Alors maintenant, j'ai juste envie de suivre cette voie.